It is Astana EXPO 2017 on Kazakh TV, and today you will discover which country is aiming to have 80% of its energy generated from renewable sources by this mid-century. Which developments will be presented at the EXPO 2017 Best Practices site? What kind of entertainment is awaiting residents of the capital and its guests in 2017? Germany is one of the advanced countries in terms of alternative energy development, the preconditions of which have been both the climate, which changes from moderate to more continental from north to south, and the landscape. On the northern border are the North and Baltic Seas, while the central part is covered with mixed forests and the southern border is delineated by Alps. In other words, there are many options in terms of alternative energy, especially the wind energy, which prevails over other types of energy comparatively. According to statistical data, by 2015, Germany will become a leading country in EU in terms of annual volume of wind-generated setups, more than 6,000 megawatt of new power, which makes up 47% of the whole share, 2,000 megawatt of which have been produced by offshore wind parks. According to Federal Ministry of Energy and Economy of Germany, the overall picture of generating energy from renewable sources in 2015 is following. Wind energy 13.3%, hydropower 3%, biomass 6.8%, photovoltaic stations 6.8%, household waste 0.9%. In total, 30% of energy in 2015 has been generated with the use of renewable sources. Today this mark has increased by 2.5%. Dr. Wolfgang Dierker, a representative of German company General Electric, has commented the situation.
Germany took a decision many years ago to go into renewable energies very aggressively. And that is the reason why today we have more than 30% of renewable on the power. At the same time, there is a lot of popular support when it comes to continuing to build out renewables.
Along with German population supporting the green politics, the government itself primarily endorses such a position. 2010 development concept has set the following goals: by 2020, 35%, by 2030, 50%, by 2040, 65%, by 2050, 80%. Mr. Dierker considers the role of the government in developing clean energy as primary.
All the polls, all the opinion surveys shows us that on a general level, the population in its vast majority support the continued rollout of renewable energies. At the same time, what I think we need to be taken into account is that in a specific sense, when it comes to the wind turbine close to my home, or when it comes to the energy cost that is increasing due to renewable, the popular support might very well drop, and actually is already dropping in some regions. Balancing general support for renewables at a political level, at the same time making sure that there is social acceptance for renewables, will be key for being able to drive on with renewable support in Germany.
For not its long period of developing alternative energy, in the country the positive changes are already being felt. There are maximum land development, coal mining and carbon dioxide emission reductions, the development of innovative technologies, the growth of export share, attraction of private investments into the industry, and gradual price reduction of energy. By the way, like in the whole world, in Germany, the main issues in terms of transition to a new level of industry development today are still the matters of tariffs and sustainability of clean energy.
At this point, I would think there is two things. One is cost. Again, it's really a matter of being able to provide renewable power at the same or comparable cost as currently we are able to generate nuclear power, power from coal or from gas. However, the other element, which is almost as important, is grid stability and integration of renewable power into the grid, which is something that we experience right now in many European countries as possibly the biggest problem.
In general, the mood on further development of clean energy of one of the green countries in EU is beyond optimistic.
Looking at this from a global level, I think chances are great. The reason is that we will run into a world where fossil power is increasingly more expensive and will be increasingly hard to get. Renewable energy at the same time, and in particular solar energy and wind energy, are seeing very steep decreases in terms of cost. So that's, I think, a dynamic that is helping to roll out renewable energies.
The site of the best practices at EXPO 2017, where the best developments in alternative energy will be presented, is the culminating point for the exposition organizers. The developers themselves, businessmen, startup project representatives, for exactly the best development will be the result of resolving simple questions that the humanities today, which will later become the further development of clean energy tomorrow. The startup project Kuntech has already received its happy ticket, the invitation to the best practices area at EXPO 2017 being shortlisted to the competition of the exposition organizer. Among the main company development are the helio collectors, the solar panels of heating type. These devices not only serve to provide heating for households and buildings, but also supply hot water with the use of solar energy. Diaz Baisidov has told us about the emergence of this startup project in the green industry. Kuntech project has been conceived during our trips to the West, where we were able to conduct an intensive research of the technology and assembly of such systems and brought them here into Kazakhstan in a form of transfer technology. Currently, we're using a maximum amount of local materials, which makes our panels twice cheaper than those in Europe. Quality-wise, our production is based on European technology of the absorber, which is of no less quality than that of European producers. However, we try to use local labor forces and local components such as glass, insulation materials, tubes, and etc.
Однако мы стараемся использовать местную рабочую силу и местные компоненты, такие как стекло, элементы корпуса, утепления, а также такие вещи, как местные там уже элементы обвязки, трубки, баки и прочее.
These installations in summer provide heat up to 130 degrees, which allows to save up to 60% of heat expenditures for local heating and hot water supply annually in the central and northern parts of Kazakhstan, and 80% of those in the southern part of Kazakhstan. In practice, helio collectors have the following arithmetics. One panel in one light day is capable of heating 100 liters of water in summer up to 100 Celsius degrees, in winter up to 50 to 60 Celsius degrees. Such a panel can be used for floor heating as well. Each 12 square meters are heating with a single panel. The payback term, about 3 to 4 years. The term of service, 40 years. Warranty period, 7 years. In simple words, on a complex matter, Diaz has told us about the constituent parts of such a system. Along with the collector, the system includes some additional components, such as an accumulator tank, which is needed for energy storage at night or during the period in which there is little light. Certainly, given our conditions, we can't fully rely on renewable sources, because there are frequent periods without both wind and sunlight. In such moments, we have a reserve source, specifically the accumulator tank, that turns on automatically to heat water if there is no sunlight. It would turn on much less if it was working alone. Also, the system has a low-power circulatory pump, an expansionary tank. All of this is managed by the controller, which compares the temperature of the collector with that of indoors and gives commands to the pump. These controllers we're planning to produce and order in Kazakhstan. Thus, our goal is to minimize the cost and maximize the amount of Kazakhstan-made components and reach a price of 140,000 tenge for a single panel by the end of this year. Thus, given installations are already providing heat to a number of schools in eastern Kazakhstan, as well as in cities of Aktobe, Kazakh and Astana. The ambitious scientists do not stop at this feat. Currently, they are working on a smart heating system called smart thermogrids, which are planned to store heat between seasons. The use of such a system is predicted to save 95% of annual energy output. By the way, exactly this smart system is planned to dominate the presentation of the company at the Best Practices site during EXPO. We don't confine ourselves to only production and assembly of such systems. We are conducting research as well, which is why we're already acquiring a patent for an array of new projects. Particularly, we seek to apply such collectors for season storage of heat. With our partners, specifically Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, we're collaborating on this project. The thing is that it has been proven numerous times that heat excess during summer can be stored for winter in a form of subterraneous accumulators, water containers, or a network of wells appropriately selected. Thus, the annual economy can reach up to 95%, as Canadian and European experiences demonstrate. Just imagine, only 5% of the energy would be provided by burning coal and gas, while the rest of it will be covered by solar energy. Currently, the company's capacity can't afford automized production, which is why the employees are left with manual assembly plant. However, the population's interest is rising a little, and the young manufacturers are hoping to enlarge its production anytime soon. One of the numerous entertainments which will be offered to the residents and guests of the capital during the most expected event of 2017 will be Astana Art Fest. Every year, the festival presents its creations on City Boulevard, Joly. It is worth to note the multi-directionality of the event: industrial design, theater, modern art, music and architecture. These are the main directions in which the participants will demonstrate their works, installations, art objects, pictures. These works will be presented on Astana's Day, stretching from Akorda to Khan-Shatyr. This summer, the annual festival will be held for the second time. The Akimat of Astana has already organized this art platform twice, which is in itself a dialogue between artists and the spectators. Aygerim Kapar, the curator of the Modern Art Festival, has told us more about the event. Last year, the Akimat has given impetus for holding such an art fest in Astana, in our capital. A few people combining their efforts have come up with such an interesting festival, which has united in itself the modern art, architecture and design. And this is already the second time we're having this festival in our capital. By the way, this festival is considered as the biggest Kazakhstani art event. The festival of 2015 has gathered participants from Kazakhstan, Russia, Italy, France, and the USA. The theme of the previous season was Energy of the Elements. Artists, architects, and designers had interpreted the theme each on her or his own. This year, the scale of the festival hasn't become any less, but the preference was given to the Kazakhstani artists. In comparison with the previous festival, there were more countries participating such as Italy, France, USA, and Russia. But this year, we mainly have Kazakhstani artists. We thought that supporting local artists is also important, considering the fact that we have a plenty of modern artists here, and I think that Astana Art Fest is a good platform to demonstrate our modern art to everybody. This year, like the previous year, we have many prominent, both mature and young, artists participating. For instance, we're very glad that we have the following artists participating. The festival of this year has been attended by prominent artists such as Almagul Menlibayeva, Elena and Victor Vorobyov, Arstanbek Shalbayev, Saule Suleymanova, Tatan Kuzimbayev, and many others. The artists not only presented their works, but also collaborated with each other and communicated with their audiences via their interactive works, so that people could get more closely acquainted with modern art, and with the help of which discover in themselves something new and creative. Arstanbek Shalbayev, the member of art group Kızıl Tractor, has taken part in the festival twice. The project participants has told us about his interesting experience.
Я участвую второй год. В прошлом году я выставлял работу, инсталляцию «Пробуждение весны». И эта инсталляция, эта работа была собрана из металлических
Yes,
труб.
indeed, I am participating for the second time. Last year, I presented an installation called Spring Awakening, which was constructed out of metallic tubes. I tried to portray a plant, a living nature, and hope that it was much liked by Astana residents. This year, according to the theme of the festival, Energy of a Human, I have chosen an important female figure, the image of Eastern woman, the image of a mother. The energy of a woman is energy of a human is an important theme for me, which is why I have been trying to convey the invisible energy of a woman. Along with metal, I used cement and built mosaic patterns, all of which is then colored and put in order.
Женщины. Здесь применяется металл, внутри металлическая сетка, снаружи все это обрабатывается цементным раствором, асбестом и шпатлевкой и мозаикой. И это все потом красится, приводится в порядок.
The theme of the last season has been the human potential. The spectators and the participants of the art festival opened the bosoms of human soul, where the power and energy of the human are taken from, how they manifest themselves, and what they are capable of. It is worth to note the consonance of the themes of the last two festivals with that of EXPO. The Akimat and organizers of the exposition are actively cooperating to support the actuality of the theme. The exhibition guests in 2017 will be able to lend its research developments on Astana Art Fest and discover what the future energy is like. In the next edition of Astana Expo 2017, you will find out which developments are the graduates of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University preparing for the exposition, and everything about green roofs.